friends, welcome to the Polka Dot Life. I'm Sally and I am so glad that you're here. I am excited to be participating in this month's blog hop and sharing today's project. One of my favorite things about a blog hop is seeing how each creator interprets the theme with their own unique style. After you've watched my project, I hope that you continue on the blog hop and visit each of the other creators' blogs. There is so much inspiration waiting for you, and I know that you will find plenty of ideas to spark your creativity. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me today. Now let's turn the camera around, head to the desktop, and get started on today's project. Let's take a look at the inspiration for this month's Butterfly Inspirations Team blog hop for July. They're on page 13 of the mid-year catalog. I'm trying to hold this up closer to my camera. There are 2 scrapbook pages and then a card sketch. And that is the one that we are going to work on today. And I don't know, maybe you can see it better there, but these 2 scrapbook pages and then this card sketch. Open this up. You can see that the card for that one is right here with the watermelon slices. Card sketches are great if you're short on time, or where I find them the most useful is when I'm having a little difficulty getting started with something, a new set, a new suite, a new paper, just have had a lot going on. I need to de-stress, but I just can't. I'm so overwhelmed where I don't even know where to start. A card sketch is a great place. It's a good place to start. It doesn't necessarily have to be where you end up. That is one of the best things about using a card sketch. You can start one place and then go kind of somewhere off course. It might lead you to something really fun. I don't usually show my examples first, but today I am saving another one for the end. So this is where I started. This is the Silly Old Bear set, and I took it pretty literal except for the greeting across here. I just chose to put one of mine here and then put our images. These 2 are stamped. This one, I guess I did stamp and cut this one out too. But in that set, you have a lot of images that you can die cut or fussy cut out of the paper and make this one with too. And then I just put some more bees and some more of this honeycomb paper on the inside. I just did some stamping on the envelope flap and also on the front of that one. So I started with that. Aside from the sentiment, that is exactly kind of where that sketch is. And then next I had this set on my desk, and it was the Splash and Relax bundle. And I decided, well, this pattern, while I used it on a full card here, it lent itself to a square card. And I had all these parts and pieces cut out, and I thought, well, how fun is that card to use? And it just made me happy to play with those bright sunshiny colors. And then I stamped on this as well. And I think we sometimes shy away from square cards. This one, let's see, this one is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So it's just shorter. It's still the same width, so you still use just a standard size envelope. So I did both of those, and then I thought, well, let's kind of vary from that just a little bit. And this is the card we are going to make today. It is a monochromatic card, and I thought, well, let's just change it out a little bit. So I took, these would be the 4 basic squares, but I die cut them out of something different. And this particular set, which I'll show you in a minute, also had these. So I used those as somewhat of a decoration. And I thought that that was a really fun way. And then that is the inside. And I think this card could be for a lot of occasions. This could be a thank you card like I did. It could be a sympathy card. It could be a birthday card. Anybody that you know that enjoys the out of doors. I just thought it was kind of a calming card. This one obviously is very bright. I feel like this one's in the middle. They both make me super happy. This one has a little more chill of a vibe. And so that's the one we are going to make today together. And then I have one more similar to this that I will show you as well. First of all, I have the Moonlit Flora paper. And this is a suite that we have. And I think it's so different from a lot of the things that we've done. I'm not usually a darker, moodier person when it comes to my crafting, but you can take these darker things and make them a little bit brighter. So don't give up on this if this is not your vibe. But then also the back sides. Oh, that's where the magic happened for me. I think it is so incredibly beautiful. And we are using this print today. And part of that collection is the Fern and Flora stamp set. And it has some great elements in it. I really like those a lot. Then what I pulled in were the Scalloped Blooms dies and stamp set. I used the thank you just because it wasn't that I didn't like the one in the Fern and Flora. It just fit. It's designed to fit on these better. And so that's why I chose this particular set. And these 3 dies are the particular ones that I used for my project. Let's see if we can tell which ones. I believe they're the 3 smallest, but I could be incorrect. Yes, so these are the larger ones, and then these 3 are the 3 smallest ones. This is an outline, the middle is an outline, and then the one in the center has that little dotted edge. So that is what I used for the card today. Still have a little bit of this grid paper from the Stamparatus that I just have in my desk drawer here. So I'm going to be bringing that in because we're going to do some stamping and we're going to do some blending. The colors we are going to use are Old Olive and Basic Beige. Let's do our stamping first. I'm just going to drop my little pieces there. I'll move those back out of the way. These 2 smallest ones, we don't need to stamp anything on, but we will be blending on them. I'm going to put my card off to the side here just so I can see which ones I did where. So I'm going to use this image here that has some florals, and that is going to go on one of the larger. Perfect. Then next I'm going to move to the moth, and that's going to go on one of these other ones, and I'm just going to kind of put those wings straight across or ish on that one. There's no wrong here. It's just all happy. And then our larger stamp, I'm just going to ink up the bottom of it. And I'm just going to kind of sneak it across here. However you do it, however you want to do it is fine. I just kind of did mine peeking out of the corner there. And I just want to make sure I have my right piece of paper here. I am going to move those up here just temporarily while I have this big stamp out. And I'm going to ink this up. And I'm just going to do it across. And you, like I say, you can fit this however you want. I'm just going to take this across the bottom. If you'd like to write a larger message, either don't stamp anything at all or choose a smaller image. Now I'm going to open up, I'm going to slide this back out of the way, and I'm going to open up this basic beige. And I love this stamp. It's such a fun stamp. I'll move that up as well. And I'm going to ink it up in this basic beige. And I am just going to go ahead and stamp that on first. And it's just going to be a little bit of texture to this piece. And if you didn't notice, like this has a lot of a big green tint to it, basic beige does. And so that's why I chose to use that today. I'm just going to leave this open. I'm going to slide it up, and I'm going to bring in my thank you stamp from that Boutique Blossom set, or I guess the suite is something like that, but this is the Scalloped Blooms stamp set. You can worry about this being perfectly straight up against those lines or not. Whatever makes your heart happy. I think it's going to turn out great no matter how you do it. Then I am going to take, I can close my old olive, move it out of the way, and I am just going to load up this brush with the basic beige. I'm using a small one. You could use a large one. It really wouldn't matter. And I am just going to soften these edges. You can do it as dark or as light as you would like. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel good about your crafting, whatever just excites you. I finally kind of got tired of fighting this nagging of I needed to be crafting more. I feel that God created me that way, that this was something he put inside of me, and I needed to use it to bless other people. And so that's how I got really started in my journey here. So we have one. I think my ink pad's getting a little bit dry because I've done a lot of ink blending with that color here recently. But I don't want it to be super dark either. But you can see it just changes the mood of what you have stamped here. You could go over the whole thing if you wanted. If you wanted your image stamped, or your stamped image to be colored in, you could do that. That would be another thing you could try. You can come in as far as you want, especially on these bigger ones. You can have it come in. It's kind of just like a little vignette look, and I guess would be what I would say would describe it. You could do one size one way and another size another way. You know, lots of different options here. And then these little ones, and you kind of have to look. That one, okay. I took these and I just colored these in. Just to do a little contrast. There really wasn't anything else going on with these. But if you want to do just the edges, that's fine. They're small. It makes it a little bit easier to just go ahead and do the whole thing as well. And if you're new and you haven't seen these blending brushes before, we have small ones and large ones. And I have a large one for every color. I don't have as many of the small ones. And so I kind of just keep this one for my basic beige, but I also just clean them off like this when I'm done. And then that's just how I clean them. And before I start with a new color, I would try to, you know, clean that off as best as I can and just get it blended in before I took it to my project. I decided to carry a little bit of what I started on the outside to the inside. There. I like how that turned out. Just going to make sure that I don't have any ink on my fingers. And then our card is just very standard. I just did the normal A2 card base, or if you're watching from overseas, then you do your normal layers, what you would do, whereas in North America, we do an A2 card, and it is, when it's folded, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So just your 8 1/2 by, or well, whatever. Just our cardstock comes at 8 1/2 by 11 sheets, so it's just half of that sheet and then scored in half. It wouldn't matter whether this card opened this way or whether you had one that opened the other way. I'm going to take, oh, that's so pretty too. I am going to put this down. And let's see here. Which way do I like this better? I think I like it going this way. It just lays a little bit nicer going this way. So kind of check that out. That's always a thing, to just give things a little look and see which way you want it to be. And then I'm just going to lay out my pieces. I didn't want these like right at the top or the bottom, so I kind of start there, and I kind of wanted that one angled, and I did want this one toward the bottom, so I took that grid and I just shifted it a little bit. And then that one out here. Then I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here. So you just work with it and get it however it makes you happy. Then I'm going to take my dimensionals. I'm just going to start adhering my pieces. And I'll go ahead and probably speed this part of the video up. I am a slow crafter. I just find the older that I get, I'm done with rushing and trying to hurry things along. I want to enjoy the process. So that is kind of my take on things there. That's why I try to go ahead and speed up some of my videos so I don't keep you all day if that is not your thing. And some people, you're still in the stage of life where you are cruising through things, trying to get things done. You have children at home, what have you. And I just have found, especially later, it's the process I enjoy. So I just have learned to savor the process. So that is our card. And I think it is just a fun card. Now let me show you this other one. I decided I liked this vibe, but I wanted to do one of the other papers as well. And so it's the same thing, but it's different. I used different colors. I added some gems. So I'm not sure. Like I say, I have both. I have with the gems and without the gems. These are the ones that I put on my other card here. No, it isn't. These are different. These are gold. But I have these adhesive back metallic gems. And I thought it might be kind of fun just to try it both ways and see which way we like it. I'm going to use the copper color. I think that would be just a cute little pop. And I'm even just using the big ones on all of them. And let's see here. Let's put this one right here. Let me grab my original. And you can see which one of those that you like the best. And see, I think that I did a little more blending, but I think that my pad just dried out. But I like both of them. I think they're both just kind of fun. So here we brought our cards back in and we're just going from where we started to where we finished. And I love all of those. I love all 4 of those. So hopefully that inspires you. And like I say, you can use these layouts with any stamps, ink, and paper that you have. And it's a great way to do some multiples where you just don't have to think a lot about it. And these ones are, like I say, these are pretty straightforward grid, just like in the catalog. But these just show you that you can take different dies and, like I say, just scatter them a little bit differently, use them a little bit differently, and see what you come up with. I have enjoyed our time together, and I hope that you go in the blog post and go down and make sure you visit each one of the designers on that Butterfly Inspirations team and check out all of the ideas that they have. I can probably bet we don't know what we're doing, what sets we're using, any of that kind of stuff. We know that we were doing this sketch, but that's the only thing we knew. So I'm really excited myself to go and hop on over to all of these different blogs and see what the different designers have done. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.